For the last few years, I've been sitting with a question that I just can't shake. And my question is around human design and the deconditioning process. And I'm wondering if it's actually related to our nervous system. Because now, okay, let me back up here before anybody jumps in the comments and starts getting all angry and upset. Let me say this up front. I am not saying these two systems are identical. What I'm about to share today is simply an observation from my own journey, and it's one that I'm finding fascinating enough to explore. The more that I work on healing my own nervous system, the more naturally I seem to live according to my own human design. And that has made me wonder, what if they're describing the same mountain from two different sides? Welcome to Incandescent Voltage Luminous Being. My name is Tiffany, and I have been a functional medicine board certified health coach since 2017. Everything shared on this channel is intended for educational and reflective purposes only. It is not medical advice. You are the keeper of your own current. So please seek out medical or mental health support whenever needed. In the human design spectrum, I am what they call a projector. And if you know anything about projectors, you know that we're often encouraged to honor our energy, wait for recognition, and guide rather than constantly produce. That wasn't me. For most of my life, I was trying to keep up with everyone else, always pushing and proving, and I think above all, people pleasing. Basically, consistently trying to earn my place in the world. I had no clue how to rest without guilt. And I had no idea how to stop anticipating everyone else's needs before my own. I thought it was literally just my personality. But looking back now, I know that it wasn't. I am absolutely convinced I lived most of my life in survival mode. Human design calls this living from the not self. And when I started studying trauma and nervous system regulation, I started hearing a different language. Hypervigilance and people pleasing, fawning and freezing, living in a chronic state of stress where your body's constantly screaming danger. And for me, I wasn't much of a fighter. I wasn't necessarily someone who lashed out. And if that happened, it was extremely rare in extreme circumstances. But I did become a master at fawning, making everyone comfortable, keeping the peace, working harder, doing more, trying to become indispensable. Because somewhere deep inside my nervous system, I believed that is what would keep me safe. And one of the most profound lessons I've learned is that the nervous system doesn't really care what your mind knows. Your mind can say, I'm safe, but your body may still whisper, are you sure? You can understand boundaries intellectually and still say yes when you desperately want to say no. You can understand rest intellectually and still feel guilty for sitting on the couch. You can know you don't have to prove your worth and value while your body keeps running the old program anyway. Because healing isn't just about changing thoughts. It's about convincing your body that the danger has passed. When our nervous system is dysregulated, we often slip into survival patterns. Fight can look like anger, control, perfectionism, and criticism. Flight can look like overworking, so workaholics. Busyness, the people who are always, trying to compete with, I'm so busy, and an inability to slow down. Freeze can look like procrastination and feeling stuck or being unable to make decisions. And fawning, the one that I know best, can look like people pleasing, abandoning your own needs, and constantly trying to keep everybody else happy. And when I look at my own life through this lens, I don't see someone who is authentically expressing herself. I see someone surviving. So over the last few years, I've spent countless hours doing emotional freedom tapping, learning boundaries, journaling from time to time, practicing Qigong, slowing down, and allowing my body to experience safety in small doses. And in so doing, something unexpected happened. I didn't become a different person. I became more myself. The more regulated that I became, the less I wanted to force, the less I needed external validation, and the easier it has become to honor my own energy, trust my own pace, stop comparing myself to people whose path was never mine to begin with. And as that happened, I started looking remarkably like the healthy expression of a projector. And here's another fascinating parallel. Many human design teachers say that deconditioning takes around 7 years. Now compare that to nervous system healing. People recovering from decades of chronic stress, childhood trauma, people pleasing, or hypervigilance rarely heal in a single weekend workshop. It's often measured in years, just like human design. Not because they're doing something wrong, but because the body definitely changes slowly. Trust is built through repetition. Safety is experienced over time. Neural pathways are rewritten one moment at a time. And the mind may understand in an afternoon, but the body often takes much longer to heal and catch up with the intellectual reasoning that the mind actually knows. I think of it kind of like planting a garden. You can't force seeds to grow. You can't yell at them and say, grow faster. You can't shame it into blooming. You simply create the right conditions, healthy soil and water, sunlight, protection, and then you wait. Our hang on, our authentic selves work the same way. We don't have to force ourselves into becoming who we are. We simply have to create enough safety for who we already are so that we can emerge naturally. Kind of like a caterpillar coming out of a cocoon, like a butterfly. Kind of like that. So I want to encourage you to think that maybe deconditioning isn't about fixing yourself, but rather not even becoming someone new either. Think of it like this. It's gently peeling away years of fear and survival, hypervigilance and coping strategies until your authentic self has room to breathe again. It's probably the best way I can describe that. It's not that your human design was never buried, but it's just that your system was so fractured, you couldn't actually express your authenticity. You weren't safe enough to express it. So I don't really know with certainty whether human design and nervous system science are describing exactly the same thing. But I do know this, that the healthier my nervous system becomes, the more I recognize me. The less I perform, the less I force, the less I chase, and the more peaceful, authentic, and aligned my life feels. Maybe that's deconditioning, or maybe it's simply what happens when the body finally learns that it's safe. And maybe healing isn't about becoming someone else at all. I think healing is remembering who you were before your nervous system had to protect you. And if that's true, then we don't heal by trying harder. We just learn to heal at the speed of safety. Before we close, I want to let you know that tomorrow in the community tab, I'm going to have some reflective questions there for you. You can use these however you choose. You can use them for journaling or contemplation or having a deeper conversation with a therapist or counselor if that feels good to you. Remember that sometimes healing just comes from making space for the questions themselves. So don't necessarily feel like you have to have answers all at once. Maybe write them down in a journal and come back to them at a later time. Thank you for choosing to be here with me today, luminous being. If this conversation resonated with you, I would love to hear your reflection in the comments below. How did this shift the way you view yourself, your body, or your current season of life? What expanded your self-awareness as you listened? Remember, these conversations are not about perfection. They're about learning to listen more honestly to ourselves with curiosity, compassion, and clarity. And if this episode supported you in some way, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share with someone else who may need these words today. And if you'd like to go deeper, I invite you to explore my free 5-day email course linked below, where ancient wisdom meets modern science. Remember, this is meant to support your own health, nervous system, and wellness journey. And until next time, may you continue healing at the speed of safety.